I hadn't read a single book in last 15 years, and in last 1 month I got these, and I have 2 more left in my bag. And today's video is inspired by this one. So originally I was going to film this video after I have been reading consistently after, let's say, 6 months. But then this book taught me that after 6 months I might not know what I know right now, because right now I will have a beginner's mind, and at that time I might have somewhat expert's mind. So I'm gonna clean this up real quick, and as in some of my videos, I do not have a script today. I do not have a prepared outline, but I want to make sure that you know everything that I know. So let's just get started. Cleanse your brain. The major reason why I couldn't get back to reading was because I thought reading was this boring experience, that I wasn't going to enjoy it, that it is going to be work, not play. I'm going to make a statement here and say that reading is boring for no one in this universe. For no one. Okay, think of it like this. When you Netflix, do you ever get bored? The show can be boring, not the entire Netflix. So if you get bored by one of the shows, you don't leave Netflix, you just pick another show. That's how it is for books as well. If you don't like one book, you put it aside and you pick another one. You don't stop reading, you just switch books, just like how you switch shows. You will have to abandon some books in order to keep reading, just like how sometimes when you pick something to watch and you just don't like to watch it anymore and you just force yourself, and then you don't want to Netflix anymore for a few days or months after that. I'm taking the example of Netflix because that's what I think most relatable for everyone. So even if you are someone who has never read any books, I would say that trust me, you're going to find something that you will feel addicted to. So first of all, please cleanse your brain and push out these thoughts that it's going to be boring, or you're not going to enjoy it, or it's work, or anything negative surrounded with books. Think of it as something you're really going to enjoy and scatter some positivity around it. Pick your soulmates. Okay, so I ordered 7 books in last 2 days, and I think I've spent around 12 hours searching for it. I'm gonna tell you how I choose books so you can get an idea. So what I do basically is I mostly hang out on YouTube a lot. So I have a few people that I relate to a lot. They just resonate with me so much. So if 2 of them are suggesting the same book, I am going to pick that if I like the topic. Don't start reading a book just because it's famous, or your best friend recommended it to you, or it had really good reviews, or the book looks pretty. No, don't do that. You really don't want to do that. I would suggest that you pick your soulmates, as in the books that you will be addicted to or likely going to be addicted to. One more thing I do is when someone that I have some kind of similarity with, for example, there is this one person that is really similar to me in terms of how mine and her brain works. So when she recommends a book about something that we both struggle with, I'm gonna go and pick that book. Or sometimes I would just search books around some of the topics that I'm really interested in, and then I would go into reviews and see what people felt about that book. As in, some books are going to be filled with logical data and analysis and those things, and some books are going to be feelings based. So if that's your fault, please go do it. And I would definitely accept a book suggestion from someone who really knows me and thinks that I should read that book. As in, someone who's close to me. If they think that there is a book that is going to resonate with me or going to help me in any way, I would go pick it up because that person knows me. So, make reading your play. Okay, so as I said, reading is not meant to be work. So first rule is, if you do not enjoy reading, there's something you're doing wrong. Either the book is not for you or you're not reading it the right way. For example, one of the fiction books that I'm reading, there are times that I really love that book, and there are times when I don't like that book at all. And it has a lot to do with how my day was and what point of time in my day I'm reading that book, and if anything particular happened in that day that is making me feeling distracted. Personally, I do not like to read in between my work breaks. I do not have time to get immersed in my book, and it's just very rough kind of bird eye view kind of experience, which I do not like at all, and that makes me wanna stop reading. So I don't do that at all. However, when I read at night, it is much more fun, and I really like to read, and if there is something that needs to be thought upon, I would like to put the book aside in my lap and just think about it for a couple minutes and then go back to reading. So it's not really about finishing X number of books in a day or month or a year. No, you wanna make reading your habit. You want to have this activity, this hobby in your life for a really long term. It's a long game. It's not something you're gonna be done. So I recommend that do not focus on numbers at all at this point of time when you're a beginner. And do not even worry about if this book is going to help me or things like that. If you like fiction books, just go with fiction. That's all. If you can complete one book in 1 month, I mean, that's what your goal should be for the starters. You don't have to go extreme. So really make reading your play. Laugh out loud if you have to. One of the books that I'm reading, a fiction one, makes me laugh so hard and makes me cry so hard, and I do all of that. I want to live it out. I don't want to have it as a number in my life that I read 100 books and out of which this book happens to be one of the numbers. I don't want that. I want that even if I read less number of books in my life, those are all something that gives me something, and they are all an experience, not a number. I do recommend casually reading a lot of books all at once. I feel that I cannot just keep reading one book. That's because I have seen myself reaching out for different kind of books and wishing and wanting to read different kind of books, even though I already had one book going on. And when I did allow myself to do that, I have seen that I had so many options to choose from. And I usually read non-fiction, but sometimes my days were too stressful that I wasn't able to properly grasp what I was reading, and I could feel that the words are not registering into my brain. So on those days, just to unwind and sleep, I would pick something that's fiction. And what this did is it kept me from moving away from reading and doing something else instead. Now, it might not be for everyone. You want to try it out for yourself and see if this works. One more thing that I think has majorly helped is keeping it in my sight all the time. I think out of sight, out of mind is really true. So I carried 2 books with me everywhere I went, and it was on my bed, it was on my table, it was everywhere I went. So whenever I got bored, instead of going to my phone, I went to my books. Now, why do you think we scroll a lot, and why do you think we are on our phones a lot? I think it's a lot of because it's very accessible to us. So instead I made my books accessible to me all the time. I usually like my books with my green teas, and sometimes I put on some light music, something that matches with the kind of book I'm reading. So it's kind of a very wholesome, immersive experience for me. So I recommend doing that. Before we end, I want to say that it might be a little bit harder to get into reading when you're first starting out. As in, even if you pick some kind of fiction, it might be hard to get through first 5 or 10 pages. That's because sometimes it's hard to even watch something. Let's say you're Netflixing and let's say you've started some kind of movie and you're going to find it hard for the first 15 minutes because everything is new and you're kind of trying to connect the dots and everything. So if you're a new reader, you might find that you don't understand anything, even if things are super easy and solid, and sometimes things even irritate you, like you don't know what a word means and you Google it and then you find another word, you Google it again, and it happens for the 15th time and you don't want to do it anymore. But please don't give up. You, at least if you go through like first 30 pages, you will build that kind of mindset and you would know how to navigate the rest of the book. So please just hang on. Alright, that's it. I hope I'll see you in the video I make after 6 months about my book recommendation. You see, I don't feel qualified doing that right now because I've read 15 books in my entire life. So I do want to make a book recommendation video after 6 months when I've read a few books. Alright, so you might want to stick around for that if you think we click in any way. Alright, see you. Bye. Do let me know if you start reading. Oh, and feel free to drop some recommendation for this fellow reader if you have any.